Alrighty, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy White Album here. Welcome back to some more Witch on the Holy Night. Just a quick apology for not uploading as much lately. I'll be honest with you, I've been kind of lazy. There's times where I would come back from work and, tell myself that I would record and I just never did. So if there's any reason for a lack of, videos, again, it's kind of my fault. I say kind of, but it is my fault. But I'm back. I think we're just going to take it easy with some Witch on the Holy Night. Before I get started, though, I do want to make a quick suggestion. Would you guys like to see a playthrough of Persona 3P? I think that's Persona 3P, the portable version of it. Because I know they recently remastered it alongside with, I think it's P4 Arena. And I think they're like $13 or something like that, 13, $15. And I was thinking about playing those on the channel here, maybe after Holy Night. But from what I heard is that for P3 they took stuff out of it, to compromise for the PSP version of it. I think like cutscenes, some other stuff like that, and it's a little lower quality. But I mean, if that's the case, I'll probably see if it's on Steam. Like the original version, like the PS2 version of it. I was considering playing it, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Just leave a comment down in the section below what you guys think about that. Because I was thinking about playing it, that or P4 Arena, not Arena, Gold, I think it was called, something like that. Because I'm trying to get into Persona, because as a JoJo fan, I kind of see it as like I don't want to say knockoff, because there's actually a difference between stands and personas, but that's a whole nother conversation I'll get into. But we're back. I'm back here on some Holy Night. I think the last time left off, Alice had pretty much turned the carnival to like a hellscape, kind of like a House of the Dead situation that Oko and Sojiro had to like fight through. So here we go. Let's rock into it. I got my gamer subs ready to keep my mouth nice and moist. That's not where I left off. Alright, here we go. The moment the blue bird descended into its master's field of vision, it made a high-pitched call. The girl listened expressionlessly to the report. No matter, everything is going as expected. Even if she We good? Can I speak now? Okay. Even if she only knows how to shoot and destroy, the way Oko uses magical energy is extraordinary. Hastily formed familiars are no match for her. The robin flapped its wings as it tweeted in response. It's blue. Tweeted. Perhaps it was criticizing Alice for complimenting Aoko. Or perhaps it was jealous of Aoko for being complimented by Alice. Alice could barely make sense of its chirping rant. Aoko Alzaki was a novice mage. Until just 2 years ago, she was someone who grew up with no background in magecraft, compared to Alice, who was raised as a witch from birth. Aoko possessed far less talent and experience. Winning was an impossibility for Aoko. In a contest of skills in magecraft, 10 times out of 10, Alice would be declared the victor. However, in a battle to the death, it was a different story. Alice was not a mage suited for battle. Aoko, on the other hand, was built for it. In a contest that pitted magical energy against magical energy, even Alice would concede that Aoko had the upper hand. Aoko's manipulation of magical energy was extraordinary. The scale of her magic circuits was smaller than that of Alice's, but their rotational speed, durability, and quality of magical energy produced, not to mention the efficiency, were otherworldly. That was Aoko's hallmark. Though she had many failings when handling sophisticated formulae, in just 2 years of practice, Aoko had surpassed Alice in simple formulae that merely required an energy input. She also had genius-level instincts and adaptability. Though Aoko was not particularly proficient at executing magecraft, she was terrifyingly fast. If she had been born outside the Ozaki clan, she would have doubtless risen to fame as a competitive sharpshooter.
でも、残念ね。
What a pity. In a straight shootout, Alice did not stand a chance. Alice had never bothered to learn primitive magecraft like bullets in the first place. She was the classic puppeteer. Her familiars would carry out all the particulars of battle as her arms and legs.
制限時間には気づいているわよね、青子。
Clock's ticking, Aoko. This is a cool shot of Alice. I might screenshot that after this. Might make it my new thumbnail. You guys know if you see it.
魔力はいくらでも貸してあげるけど、あなたの魔弾はあと半時で値崩れするわ。
I'm happy to lend you all the magical energy you like, but after an hour, those bullets will be worthless. Chirping as if in agreement, the robin took flight. It had been nearly 10 minutes since Alice made the amusement park her dominion. To what would be the green fog? What? To what would the green fog give birth next? I fucked that one up. What the fuck? It's only been 10 minutes. They've been fighting for 10 minutes and they have the entire night to fight, bro. I don't know. Aoko and Sojiro, still running about, would soon come to understand the gravity of their situation. Wait, what the fuck? Why did the game put me so far back? Or so far ahead? Suzuki, is this the way out?
Ah, その店を曲がれば出口だ。
Yeah, the exit is just around that store. Running non-stop at full speed had them at their limits. Their breath ragged, the two flew around the corner. Amusement park though it was still the infamous Kidsyland. It would have taken a high school student 20 minutes to sprint the entire circumference of the park. And though they now intimately familiar with the park's geography. What? Oh my god, is that a dragon in the background? How come Alice is not sending the fucking dragon that's in the background towards them? I feel like that'd be the smart or the wise decision at least. It was changing beyond recognition. The transformation was not limited to the park's residents either.
Aozaki.
Aozaki.
何を?
What?
言いたくないんだけど、この遊園地広くなってないか?
I hate to ask this, but is it just me, or is the park getting bigger? It was, in fact, getting bigger. Their problem wasn't as mundane as mistaking the location of the exit, or getting lost in the terrain. No. The park was warping and twisting in upon itself. Even now, its structure was expanding and growing, like that of a living creature. Soon, the pair noticed that the mob encircling them had grown even stronger. Entrusting her back to Sojiro, Aoko summoned all of her effort just to keep from whining. No one would have thought twice if it had been Sojiro cowering in shock and terror. But Aoko doing the same? She bore responsibility for causing and then dragging him into this mess. She could not afford to succumb to panic.
大丈夫。落ち着け、私。
Pull yourself together, Aoko.
遊園地の果てはある。遠いけど、鉄柵はちゃんと見える。
The park has to end somewhere. It may be far, but the fence is right there.
フラットスナークだって制限なしってわけじゃない。外に逃げるって選択は正しいはず。
Even flat snark has limits. Getting to the exit is the right choice, I think.
現状、外までは目算で1キロぐらいだけど。
But from here, it looks the better part of a mile away. Up until now, they had been too concerned with simply running. Their breathing had become labored. If they had to run another mile without rest, they'd end up collapsing along the way.
Aozaki, 体大丈夫か?
Aozaki, how are you holding up? Physically, I mean.
え?
What? The whisper from behind her pulled Aoko back to reality.
大丈夫だけど、ちょっと一息入れたいわね。
I'm fine, but I need to catch my breath.
賛成。ここから休みなしで外周まで走るのはやめた方がいい。
Good idea. We'll never make it outside if we don't rest.
驚いた。しずきくんも外まで走ろう派とは。
You know, I never would have thought you'd be okay with making a run for it. After saying this, she let slip a giggle. Far from the debilitated by panic, her comrade in arms had been analyzing the situation and forming an escape plan.
ちょっとだけ建物に逃げ込むのは。
I was gonna make an escape the fate joke there. You know, if you remember that band, if anybody remembers that band, I was gonna make that joke. Like, they gotta escape the fate, and it just didn't work. Alright. Why don't we hole up in one of those buildings for a while?
気は進まないけど、それしかないわね。
I don't like it, but it's our best option right now. The breadmen had completely surrounded. Perhaps this might have been a problem for an average person, but for Alko, breaking through their information to get to the building would be a cinch. The issue was...
問題は、どんな店を選ぶかってこと。
Which store to pick? Are we finally getting like some visual novel shit? Hold on, does this... I know for how deep I am into this game, I just realized, unlike Tsukihime, did we not have routes? Is there no routes in this game, or is it just like straightforward? Because I heard that there's like multiple endings for this game, but don't you need routes for that to happen? Because I know Hime has that. I mean, we'll get there when we get there. But here we go. Which store to pick? She considered the characteristics of the transforming park. What would pose a danger, and what was safe? The most important factor was not the strength or complexity of the building.
そうだ。選ぶならあの単純さで正しいはず。
Keep it simple, stupid. Aha, the churro stand.
しずきくん、あっち。
Suzuki, this way. After routing the monsters, Aoko hopped behind the counter, soon followed by Sojiro.
カウンターに隠れてて。
Get behind the counter. Like she was in a Western shootout, Aoko squared off against the monsters using the counter as cover. Speaking of Westerns, if you've never seen the movie Tombstone, I highly recommend it. It's probably one of the best like Westerns out there. Yeah, I think it came out like 93. So it's a relatively old movie, but it still holds up to this day, dude. Like, I watched it recently, man, and whew. Kurt Russell, Val Kilmer, Sam Elliott, Bill Paxton, bro. That's a hell of a cast right there. And even some of the enemies, man. Like, or some of the, like, I guess the bad guys in that movie are fucking good. You got Stephen Lang. You have, I think it's Michael Bean is his name, who plays Johnny Ringo, the main antagonist. Oh, dude, that movie's so good, dude. If you haven't seen that movie, I highly recommend watching it, bro. Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday, bro, he kills that role, dude. I've been quoting so many, like, lines from that fucking dude. It's ridiculous, but I would recommend, like, I don't know if it's on Netflix, but I know you could, like, rent it or buy it on YouTube. So I would recommend watching it, but back to the story. Sojiro's fucking face. Oh, man, this game and its facial expressions will never cease to amaze me.
Bingo.
I fucking love them.
ここならスナーク化しないんだ。
Bingo. Nothing in here can get snarkified. That's a word. After assessing the current state of the enemy, Alko sat herself under the counter.
あいつらは。
What are they doing?
店の周りで地団打踏んでるわ。理由があってね。あいつらはここには入ってこられないのよ。
They're stamping their feet in frustration because they're angry that they can't get in. Alko gave the perplexed Sojiro a grin and took a deep breath. She heaved a heavy sigh of relief and fatigue.
とりあえずコーヒーブレイクね。ここは遊園地の中でも遊びのない場所だから、あいつらにとっては鬼門なのよ。
We'll take 5 here. This restaurant is the blandest place in the park, which makes it their Achilles heel. What the hell does that mean? What does that have to do with the blandness of the place? It's just a restaurant. It's probably just sound like chicken sandwiches, and you're just like, yeah, it's bland. Fuck this place. That's why. It's the main reason why this park closed down. The food sucked ass.
レジスターも調理器具も最近のものだし、擬人化されたマスコットもないし、スナーク化するにはちょい文明犬すぎるってこと。
The registers and utensils are all modern, and there are no mascot characters. It's just a bit too civilized for Snark to mess with. Oh, you know what I just realized? If anybody has read or watched part 6 of JoJo Stone Ocean, this whole scenario reminds me of Bohemian Rhapsody. What's his name? Ungalo's Stand, where it can like bring animated like characters to life and shit like that. That's pretty much what this whole situation's given me. The way she just kind of described it there.
Snark.
Fucking Bohemian Rhapsody. I will say that fight fucking sucked though. I hated that. Like when I originally read that part, I fucking hated that part, dude. I hated that. That was so ass. Like you can't name one of the most doo-doo stands one of the greatest songs of all time. Come on now. All right, back to the story. Snark. It's like shark.
あいつらの名前よ。
N.
つけたのは私じゃなくてアリスなのかしらね。あの子の性格的にちょっと想像できないけど、まあとにかくそういう名前。
That's their name, though Alice is not the one who came up with it, I think. It doesn't really sound like her, but whatever. That's what they're called. Snark. Snark sounds like some like fucking American-made product that like helps you chop onions or some shit like that. I don't know. Perhaps now at ease from knowing they were safe, Sojiro seemed enthralled in her explanation. Aoko could not help but chuckle as Sojiro nodded sagely. It was certain that he had no idea what she was talking about. Normally, this would have irritated her, but this time, she was grateful for the warmth of his strange sobriety.
それはともかく調子良さそうだな、青崎。
It's good to see... Well, it's good that you seem better, Aozaki. Mistaking her smile for composure, Sojiro broke into a smile himself. It was just another link in a chain of misunderstandings, but there was no need to redress it.
あれ？あなたから見てもわかる？私の魔弾の威力が上がっているの。
Oh, you can tell. Yeah, my magic bullets are getting more powerful.
そりゃミラーハウスで散々追いかけ回されたからな。あの時と同じ動作なのに物騒さが増していれば嫌でもわかる。
Well, you did chase me all around that house of mirrors while firing those things at me. So I guess I've been really familiar with them. For better or worse, I'd say.
でもいいのか？
Worse,
確
definitely
か
worse.
数に限りがあるとか言ってただろう。もう随分撃っちまったけど、20、30じゃ効かないぞ。
Are you sure you're okay though? I remember you mentioning that you had a limited number of shots, but you fired at least 20 or 30 so far, right?
あんた、時々あれよね。
You know, every now and then you... Her opinion of him improved. Just a little bit.
なんでもない。
Never mind.
私の魔弾の威力が上がっているのは、単純に魔力の濃度の問題。さっきから霧がかかってるでしょ？あれ、全部魔力なのよ。弾を撃つための燃料と思って。
My bullets increase in power is a simple matter of the density of their magical energy. You've seen that fog all around the park from a bit ago, right? It's all just magical energy. Think of it as fuel for my bullets. Magical energy was divided into two broad categories. First was OD, produced inside a mage's body. OD for us means overdose, but okay. Second was mana, which filled the atmosphere. At the moment, the amusement park had been turned into a fairy tale land, overflowing with mana. Although it meant nothing to the average person, to a mage, it was a paradise where spells could be cast as much as one pleased.
じゃあ残り魔力とやらは気にしなくていいのか。
So that means you don't have to worry about how much magic whatever you have left?
注意すべきは怪我と体力だけ。
All we need to worry about are injuries and stamina?
まあ、個人的な責任においてはその限りね。
Well, as far as our own lives are concerned, yeah. Sojiro breathed a sigh of relief. From Sojo's perspective, more so than the monsters she mowed down, Aoko was the biggest bully on the playground. He had been concerned about what would happen if her magical energy be exhausted. But lucky for him, she was far from surrendering her crown.
頼りにしてくれるのは嬉しいけど、ぬか喜びよ。
It's not that you trust me and all, but let's not go get ahead of ourselves.
あんな雑魚たち、ただ動いているだけのガラクタなんだから。
Those minions out there are just walking garbage. Well, I mean, they're bread. Can't you just, like, eat one? You do, like, some Scooby-Doo type shit? Like, you remember in the second movie where Scooby and Shaggy ate the cotton candy monster dude? Like, nothing.
スナーク本体は当然として、
Which effectively
ア
probably
リスが
killed that
他
guy.
の童話の
Thinking
怪
about it.
物を出してきたら、私じゃどうにもならない。
If Alice summons any other fairy tale monsters, let alone the actual Snark making an appearance, there's nothing I'll be able to do.
他の童話の怪物。遊園地をこんな風に変えたやつ以外にまだいるのか？
Other fairy tale monsters? You mean there are others apart from the thing that changed the park?
そう。プロイキッシャーって名付けられた、私たちでさえ目を背けたくなる反則。
Yes. They are called ploy kickshaws, abbreviations, or apparitions. Not abbreviations. That's a different word. Aberrations that even we mages can't stand to look at.
不可能な夢物語をも再現する時代に取り残されたデタラメよ。
They're nonsense lost to time. Used to revive impossible fantasies. Sojo's expressions seemed to be calling her out on the hypocrisy.
あのね、私たちはちゃんと現代に寄り添った魔術師よ。
Hey, most of us have modern standards, you know.
できないこともあるし、当たり前のことだけど、近代兵器にはかなわない。20世紀、まあ、いろんな戦争の後押しで、兵器の進化は私たちを超えちゃったから。
Obviously, there are things we can do, and we're no match for modern weapons. The 20th century, well, a bunch of wars helped weapons technology catch up to us.
けど、あの子のは違
In the
う。
form of two big boys.
どんなに人間の技術が進歩しようと関係ないって怪物なの。
We destroyed 3 boats, they dropped the sun on us twice. Alright. That's a messed up joke, but here we go. But that girl is a different beast altogether. Mankind's evolution can't hold a flame to her power.
例えば、
I don't know if you caught her off guard, you probably could. Take those breadmen, for instance.
あいつには自動拳銃とか効かないわよ。多分、意味が分かっていないから。
Something like a machine gun would have no effect on them, probably because guns make no sense to them. Aoko casually gestured outside, past the counter.
アリスの使い魔は、すべてが空想によってこねられた神秘なの。
Alice's familiars are mystics needed from fantasies.
前提からしてありえないことだから、通常の物理法則と折り合いが悪い。空想と現実は両立しないっていう、ごく当たり前の理由でね。
They're all impossible in the first place, so they don't play nice with the laws of physics. They shouldn't come as a surprise, since fantasy and reality can't exist together.
なるほど。ブレッドマンってのはあの動く焼きたてパンのことなんだな。
I see, so they're literally walking loaves of bread? Sojo seemed to have ignored the majority of Aoko's explanation, and only reacted to the part that caught his curiosity.
話を戻すけど、
To get back on topic,
あいつらと近代兵器の相性は最悪。ロケット弾でも効果はないわ。意思の疎通、秩序の共有ができてないから。
modern arms don't stand a chance against those things. Even rockets would be useless. They aren't part of the same order or shared consciousness as us.
プロイキッシャーにとって彼らの世界には存在しないもの、意味がわからないものは触れることなく無賛する。
To deploy rickshaws, and is it kickshaws or rickshaws game? Come on now. Though I think rickshaw sounds a little cooler. To deploy rickshaws to the fairy tale monsters, anything that doesn't exist in the world, anything that they don't understand, disintegrates before it can even touch them.
彼らに通じるのは 同じ神秘を帯びた魔力だけっていうデタラメぶりよ。もう完全に概念空間っていうか、概念宇宙っていうか。
Only something equally nonsense can touch them. Like Like magical energy infused with the same level of mystics. They exist wholly in their conceptual space, our cosmos. My man just like, I don't care if I'm being honest. Him.
要するに、あいつらは伝承防御っていう特別なルールを持っていて、単純に強い力、強い魔術じゃ効果は薄いの。元になった童話にちなんだ欠点をつかないと倒せない。
In short, they exist according to the special law known as folklore defense. We call that plot armor. Meaning that neither pure force nor strong magecraft have much effect. They can't be taken out by exploiting the weaknesses found in their original stories.
ギリシャ神話のアキレスあたり分かりやすい例えなんだけど、知ってる？
Are you familiar with the Greek myth, With the Greek myth, there you go, of Achilles? It's a good straightforward example. Sojiro shook his head.
そう。無事帰れたら飛び丸あたりに教えてもらって。定番だけどいい話よ、あれ。
Of course you aren't. If we get out of this alive, have Tobimaro tell you about it. It's a cliche. But it's a good story. Well, I don't know if you just heard somebody beep their fucking horn outside. Sojiro was feeling pretty lost, but he did his best to grasp the situation. He thought that the boy Kickshaws, see now it's Kickshaws, were scary enough to chase Oko and that puppet from before out of the house barefoot. Certainly the scene before them was the stuff of nightmares. I mean, that fucking horse is a nightmare. But Sojiro had a different way of thinking.
やっぱり青崎の方が怖くないか？
I think you're more scared than me, Aozaki.
あんた死ぬの？
Oh, I love her, man. She's great. Do you want to die? Sojiro waved in protest, suddenly pointing out that she had made his case for him.
あのね、今私たちを取り囲んでるのはおまけに過ぎないの。
Listen to me. Those things surrounding us now are little more than fodder.
アリスにとって、あのブレッドマンもロブスターもソーセージ屋のミンチマシーンも、全部が全部、私が打ってるマダンより価値がない。
As far as Alice is concerned, the breadman, the lobster, and the meat mincer at the sausage place, they're all worth even less than my magic bullets are to me. Wait, what? Did we see a meat mincer? Was that the horse? Was the horse the fucking meat mincer? Oh god.
いい？あの動くマスコットたちはね、ただのおまけなの。アリスが解放した童話の怪物の一呼吸みたいなものなのよ。
Got it? The movie mascots and all the rest are sideshow. They're nothing more than the breath of the monster she unleashed.
呼吸ってこれが？
These thongs are just the breath? I don't think she said thongs. I think my man's having a stroke.
私だって考えたくないわよ。
Yeah, okay, I just realized that's definitely a translation error. I think it meant to say these things as thongs. Well, I'm guessing this game is technically rated, what, T? M? Should I say M? Yeah, crazy, I know.
でもそれが現状。たった一体の童話の怪物だけで、私たちは手一杯。
That just made me think of like the breadmen wearing like fucking Speedos and shit like that. Oh man, that's wild. Alright, but that's what we're dealing with right now. Just one of those fairy tale monsters is enough to keep us busy.
そういうわけだから、アリスがあと一体でも追加したら諦めて。
So if Alice decides to add another, we might as well just give up.
追加って、これに制限はないのか？
Add another? Isn't there some sort of limit?
あの子が出し惜しみしなければ、まだ何体かストックはあるでしょうけど。まあ、成立する条件はあるわね。
If she decides to not be stingy, she has a few more up her sleeve. Though, well, there are conditions to bringing them out.
例えば、川がないと目を覚まさない怪物もいる。この遊園地、噴水はあるけど川はないでしょ。元になった童話縛りなの。あの子の使い魔は。
Like one monster that won't wake up if there's no river nearby. The park has fountains, sure, but no river, right? Her familiars are bound by their undying or underlying stories.
童話ってかけそばとか。
By fairy tale, you mean like the one about a bowl of soba noodles?
ここに川がないのは不幸中の幸いね。もしあったら、もっと直接制圧に向いたやつが出てきてた。
Let me tell you, it's a small mercy that there's no river here. Otherwise, something way bigger or way better at squishing us would have appeared by now. Aoko continued, completely ignoring Sojiro.
話の続きだけど、
Anyway, as I was saying,
アリスの魔術の基本はマザーグース。って知らないか。イギリスの歌で遊び心に富んだメルヘンチックな内容よ。
the foundation of Alice's magecraft is Mother Goose. Right, you wouldn't know that either. Mother Goose was an author of whimsical English nursery rhymes.
ただ、そっち系のプロイキッシャーは怖くないの。
To be honest, this type of ploy kickshaw isn't all that scary.
みんなそれなりになんとか魔術にも落とし込める範囲だから。
Taking them down with some form of magecraft is totally possible.
聞きたくないんだけど、そっち系じゃないのは。
I'm afraid to ask, but what about the scary kind then? Like a cyclops?
マザーグースを下地にしたとある創作童話系。
They follow another fairy tale also inspired by Mother Goose. Why does that silhouette look familiar to me?
あの子のお母さんが好きでね。こっち系のはどいつもこいつも尋常じゃない。私たちから見ても勘弁してって言いたくなるわ。
Alice's mother was particularly fond of it, and every single one is bizarre. No mage wants to go up against one of those things. So is that silhouette supposed to be her mom? I'm doubting.
で、この遊園地を生き返らせたのはこっち系よ。
As it happens, that's exactly what brought the park back to life.
多分、フラットスナークってやつだと思う。私も聞き流していたから詳しくはわからないけど。
I'm pretty sure it's the one she calls Flat Snark, though I wasn't particularly paying attention, so I'm a little hazy on the details. Sojo's like, yeah, that doesn't help our case. Sojo swallowed, the discomfort making its way up his throat. He really wanted her to explain things a little less vaguely, but something she had said necessitated further investigation.
待て青崎。あの子の話を聞き流したって。
There
な
it
ん
is.
で？
Wait a second, Aozaki. You mean to tell me you weren't paying attention? You want to die?
いや、説明してもらったのは随分と前だし、あの頃はアリスの話あんまり信じられなかったのよね。
Well, you know, it was a little while back that she explained it all to me, and I really didn't believe anything she had to say around then.
私が素人だと思って大げさに自分の魔術を語ってくれてるな、舐められてるなとか。
I thought that maybe she was talking up her own magecraft to a newbie, or that she wasn't taking me seriously. In truth, if anyone had taken the lesson seriously, it was Aoko. She would have learned the lesson firsthand soon enough, when she experienced just how real Alice's monsters were. She also discovered how heretical the Meinster witches truly were, in the world of magecraft.
その聞き流した内容は？
Can you remember anything else about them?
何でも強力な結界を張るプロイだって。
From what I understand, it's a ploy that puts up a powerful bounded field.
アリスが受け継いだプロイは山ほどあるけど、その中でもえりすぐりの一つよ。
Alice inherited a lot of ploys, but this one is her finest.
捨てられたもの、忘れられたものを童話的に蘇らせるやつで、今まで誰も破ったことがないとか。
It takes discarded and forgotten things and resurrects them like what happens in fairy tales. Supposedly, no one's ever defeated it.
それでついたあだ名が、触れられぬもの。
Oh, and its nickname is the Untouchable.
ん？フラットスナークじゃないのか？
That's why she said it's a nickname, dumbass. So it's not Flat Snark? Or whatever it was?
それもあだ名。とにかく正体がわからないやつばっかりなんで、一つの個体に複数の名前が付けられるの。
That's just the nickname, too. Since nobody knows what its real form is, it's picked up a few names along the way. Just call it Bohemian. I'm gonna call it Bohemian Rhapsody, alright?
フ
Because
ラットス
I
ナーク
love
は
the
その
concept
中
of
で
it.
も正体不明さはトップランクのデタラ
Just
メ
too
ぶりよ
bad Araki didn't do that well in JoJo, but, you know. One of them is Flat Snark, and it ranks high amongst her other nonsense in terms of how little is known about it.
あなた、ルイス・キャロルのスナーク狩りって本知ってる？
Have you heard of the book, The Hunting of the Snark by Lewis Carroll? No.
いや、そもそもルイス・キャロルというのは。
No, and who is Lewis Carroll?
そっからか。ドジスン教授は、そうね、特殊性癖を持った妄想紳士ってとこ？まあ、こっちは別にどうでもいいか。人によっては時間の無駄だろうし。
Okay then, let's start from the beginning. Professor Johnson was... He was a delusional gentleman with a peculiar disposition. Not that it matters right now. It's a waste of time to explain to some people.
今重要なのは、彼が残した著作の方。
What's important is the work he left behind.
スナーク狩りはね、スナークって呼ばれる正体不明の怪物を捕まえようと奔走する冒険家たちの話なの。
The Hunting of the Snark is a book about a band of adventurers who try to capture an unidentified monster known as the Snark. Sounds like a
キャ
Dr.
ロル
Seuss
ら
book
し
to
い
me.
皮肉ばっちり、支離滅裂、意味不明、結末不在の本当に困った本で、一行は島で苦しみつつ、最終的にはスナークを見つけるものの、見つけたベイカーは唐突に姿を消して終わってしまう。
It's very Carol, satirical, nonsensical, and cryptic. It doesn't really have an ending either, though the party does ultimately find the Snark on its island after much hardship. It ends with the protagonist who found it, the baker, suddenly disappearing.
よくわからないもの探しに奔走する人間の風刺なんだけど、この遊園地において、誰がベイカーで、何がスナークかは言うまでもないでしょ。
It's a satire about people who run about bustling, trying to find something they don't understand. But when it comes to the park here, it's pretty clear who the baker is and who the Snark is, right? Alco elected not to share this, but Flat Snark had other popular names as well. The Enigmatic Island, the Five-Dimensional Plane. These names were not given it to by Alice, but rather muttered by mages whom the monsters defeated. In mathematics, snark is a term used in graph theory to refer to contradictory and impossible planar graphs. A plane proven to be unable to exist in this world was given the name apt for an ill-fated existence. Paradoxal in nature. Fucking hell. Goddamn. Testing me right now, bro. The fairy tale monsters ascribed this name was said to hold no form discoverable by man. Like a fourth dimension type shit. Alco also declined to mention something else. Flat Snark was a fairy tale monster that could grow. It would hide somewhere in the park, in the amusement park, continuously exhaling magical energy until the park completely transformed into a fantasy land.
脅かしてもしょうがないし。
Well, it's like there's any point in scaring him.
何か言ったか？
Did you say something, Ozaki?
別に。簡単に言って、童話世界の再生がフラットスナークの力なの。
Nope. I was just thinking. Flat Snark's power is its ability to bring fairy tale worlds to life.
この遊園地との相性は抜群でしょうね。何しろもともとが童話を元にした遊び場だから。
When you think about it, the park makes for the perfect backdrop. I mean, it was originally a playground based on fairy tales anyway. If this had been a business district, for example, Flat Snark would have posed a far less of a threat. At most, its power would be limited to projecting the shadow of a dinosaur into the building's window panes.
お、だからここは安全だって。ん？
Ah, so that's why it's safe here. Slytherin realized that something was wrong when he noticed a glutinous liquid dripping from his back. Oh. That's another screenshot I need to take. Oh no. He looked up to the ceiling. Their eyes met. Before Sojiro had a chance to think, Sojiro hopped from the floor.
青崎外だ
Aozaki, get out now! Taking the initiative, he jumped out from behind the counter.
バカ、何して。
Are you mad? What do you think you're... Busy trying to stop him from committing an act of suicide, she also came to her feet. Or in YouTube's terms, he tried to unalive himself. Immediately, she noticed something being brought to life overhead.
やば。
What the? Oh shit. That's not horrifying. Oh, it's a carousel.
危なかった。
Oh my. That was close. The gargantuan mouth clamped down. With no mascot to speak of, the burger joint itself began to transform into one giant monster.
もう、なんで天井にピエロの絵なんて描いてんのよ、あの店。
Who the hell paints a giant clown on the ceiling?
普通もっと違うところに労力割かない？そんなにピエロが好きなら入り口にでも飾っとけ。
Shouldn't they have flexed their creative muscles somewhere else? If they like clowns that much, why didn't they put much at the entrance? Aoko aired out her grievances as she ran. There was no safe haven left. Moment by moment, the last remnants of civilization were being eroded away by fairy tales. That must fucking suck. Oh wait, no, the burger joint. Why was it? Oh, there's the fucking red eyes black dragon, baby. I prefer blue eyes white dragon, but that's just me. Oh no, it's green. The amusement park had reached its final stage of snarkification. It was not just the mascot characters that had been granted life. Like the burger joint, even buildings had begun to transform. The roller coaster that made its way about the park writhed and twisted like a Chinese dragon. Oh, that's wild. Sojiro and Aoko stared, dumbfounded by the Ferris wheel, which had grown to over 245 feet in height. Hordes of breadmen closed in on them, as if to offer tickets.
この列整理は間に合ってるっての。
I'm telling you, the line is under control. Mobs of trinkets, actual kickshaws, rampaged the park. Whenever a hole was punched into the envelope, it was instantly filled. It was a battle of attrition with no end in sight. But that was a matter of course, as there were few fairy tales about limited resources.
なんかどうしようもないぞ。こいつら増える一方だ。
This is hopeless. They just keep coming.
スナーク本体を探して。
Look for Snark's real form.
童話の怪物には本体に当たる器物があるの。それさえ壊せば遊園地から出られるはず。
A fairy tale monster always has some vessel for its body. If we can just destroy that, we should be able to get out of here.
本体ってどんな？
A body? What kind of a body?
さっき言ったでしょ。童話の怪物は現実にないものだって。今までいなかったおかしなやつとか現実じゃありえないもの、それが本体。
I already told you, fairy tale monsters can't exist in reality. Anything weird or impossible you've never seen before, that's gonna be it. You mean the flying fucking elephant rat thing behind you?
おかしなやつって例えば？
Something weird or impossible. I need an example.
だ
I
か
don't
ら
fucking know. Do I have to spell it out for you?
命のある人形とか空飛ぶゴーカートとか。
Living puppets? Flying go-karts? Aoko paused, her firing for a moment. After saying this out loud, she realized just how deep their grave was dug. The amusement park was a treasure trove of fairy tale-esque creatures on any given day. Who could say what was impossible amidst the newly transfigured knickknacks running about?
そっか。おかしくないやつなんて一つもないんだ。
Damn. Everything here is weird. Is a weird.
この中に紛れ込んでる。
So it's hiding in plain sight. The pumpkin? Hoping that she was wrong, Aoko bit her bottom lip. Flat Snark was the type of ploy that deployed bounded fields. Seeing as it was commanding so many familiars, it was not the unusual for its main body to have little or no defenses. Furthermore, if it was modeled from a story about being untouchable and unidentifiable, it would be logical to assume that it would collapse in on itself shortly after being discovered.
逆に言えば、見つければ私たちの勝ち。
Which means, we find it, we win.
そんな脆いやつが雑魚に紛れ込む。木の葉を隠すなら森の中って言うけど。
Would something so fragile really hide amongst its minions? Do they say that the best place to hide a leaf is in the woods? This was closer to the truth than Aoko realized. As long as there were the slightest possibility of being hit by one of the Aoko's stray bullets, it would not dare appear in front of them. Its true form was orchestrating the park from somewhere safe.
でも、どこかに見えているはず。
I'm sure we've already seen it.
スナークは本の主題だもの。常にページのどこかにいないと、主人公の資格がない。
It's the subject of a book named after it. If it's not standing out on every page, it has no right to be the title character. But where? Thinking in the most basic terms, the Ferris wheel was very safe, as well as a symbol of the park itself. Perhaps.
あの子を捕まえるのは。
What if we try to catch that girl instead? Her eyes opened wide at the sudden suggestion. While Oko had been trying to come up with a plan to overcome the stalemate, it seemed Sojiro had been racking his brain as well. His proposal was a simple one. If they could just not find Snark, they just need to take out its master, Alice. Alice had not moved at all from the clock tower. Even from here, they could make out her figure draped in moonlight. I mean, that would make sense, right? Attack her and then it'll show up to protect its master. That's usually how that works.
それは一番ダメ。
That's the worst move we can make. I take back what I just said.
アリスを殺してもフラットスナークは止まらないし、このトンデモが外に溢れ出すことになる。
I feel like that's not how that works, but okay. Even if we kill her, it wouldn't stop the Snark, and all of its absurdity would just boil over to the outside the park. Again, I feel like that's not... I feel like in other... I mean, then again, magic is based on what your story... on what your story wants to be, so... Because I know like other stories, it'd be like, you kill the user, it just stops, you know? But I guess here it's just like, nah, it'll keep going.
だいたい、私じゃあの子を殺せないから。よくて半殺しがいいところ。
Not to mention, I can't even kill her in the first place. At best, I can only get halfway there. A breadman, angered at its insults hurled toward its master, moved to attack and was mercilessly burned to a crisp. The two stood back to back, catching their breath. With no plan to speak of and no route of escape, they had reached rock bottom. Can we finally get Aoko's red hair, please? Meanwhile, the oddities were forming a circle around their prey, as if they smelled blood in the water. Were they to be dragged into a bakery for the oven, minced in the meat grinder at the butcher shop, skewered and paraded around atop the carousel, walked the plank of the thorny pirate ship? After 2 years of slumber, they were eager to welcome their new guests.
一応聞いておきたいんだけど。
There's something I need to ask you, Ozaki.
何？手短にね。今考え事してるから。
Keep it snappy. I'm thinking here.
ああ、あの連中が何をしたいか嫌っていうほど伝わってくるんだけど、それってあの子の趣味なのかな？
Okay, it's painfully clear what these things want to do to us. But what about her? Does she enjoy this? Probably not.
その疑問はなかったわ。
I doubt it.
連中の人間嫌いは遊園地の怨念とフラットスナークの性格じゃない？基本的にまともなやついないから、アリスの使い魔って。
These things' hatred of humans come from a deep-seated grudge within the park itself. And maybe even Flat Snark's personality, too. Alice's familiars are one big family of freaks.
あ、でも。
Though, now that you mention it, Aoko was unable to deny there was some similarities.
それは結構。それで、青崎の考え事って止める方法考えついたのか？
Good to know. So did you come up with anything, Aozaki? How do we stop them?
期待させて悪いけどお手上げ。ま、あんたが殺されれば止まるでしょうけど。
Sorry to get your hopes up, but I'm all out of ideas. Oh, but I bet they stop if you drop dead.
それは嫌だ。とりあえず逃げよう。
No, thank you. Let's just get out of here. My man said, nah, I still got like 70 more years in me.
え、しずきくん？
Hey, wait, I was Suzuki. She blinked in surprise at the sudden turn of events. Sotaro, who had until now been meekly following her lead, had grabbed Aoko's hand and pulled her with him into a suicidal charge towards the swarm of bread, in an attempt to break out of the encirclement. Man, I read that so casually. In a swarm of bread. There is no way, real life, you should be ever fearful of bread unless you're like allergic to it, or you have diabetes. One of the two.
意味わかんなすぎ。
Hey, are you out of your mind?
なんで今の流れでそうなるのよ、あんたは。
How on earth did you figure this is what we do next? Aoko, nonetheless, followed Sojiro's uncharacteristically gung-ho lead, cursing him all the while. Sojiro would not be able to break through the surrounding wall of enemies with brute force. Aoko regained her bearings and let fly a spray of magic bullets ahead of Sojiro. They broke through the net and ran as hard as they could. At this point, all that was left to do was what they had planned from the outset, aim to get out of the park. But not before addressing what needed to be addressed.
なんでよ、さっきはあんなに諦めよかったのに。
Where the hell did that come from? Hadn't you already given up back at the House of Mirrors? Aoko could not begin to comprehend Sojiro's reaction.
ミラーハウスの時と今は違うだろ。いいから走れ。
That was then, and this is now. Just run!
違わないわよ。あんたを殺そうとした私も、あんたを殺したいアリスも、理由も結果も同じよ、私たち。
What the hell are you talking about? Alice wants to kill you just like I did. Nothing's different. Not the reason, nor the outcome. Though she wondered what was getting her so worked up, Aoko did not stop. She told herself that the degree of Sojiro's stupidity, charging the breadman with so recklessly, had caused her to lose her cool.
あのね、一緒に逃げてるぐらいで勘違いしないでくれる？言っとくけど私、明日になったらまたあんたを殺しに行くから。死にたくないってんなら、ここで私からも逃げ出したら？
Hey, don't get the wrong idea. I'm just gonna try and kill you again tomorrow. I'll really do it. So if you don't want to die, you should just try to escape. You should be trying to escape me too. Got it? What? That was so weird.
それはまた今度の話だろう。だいたい青崎に殺されるのならいいけど、あの子に殺されるのは嫌だ。
Then let's talk about it tomorrow. Like I said, I really don't care if you kill me. I just don't want to be killed by that girl.
だからなんで？
And like I said, why the hell not?
だって顔も知らない。話したことさえない相手だ。
I don't even know what she looks like, nor have I even spoken with her. She's like, what? It was like someone had doused water over her blazing fury. Aoko's anger was snuffed out by the absurd simplicity of his reasoning.
顔も知らないって。
Because you don't even know what she looks like? Could it be that Sojiro did not mind being killed by someone as long as he had met them? Aoko chased behind him, grimacing at the ever-increasing incomprehensibility of it all. I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? Like, who would you rather die to? Somebody you considered a friend or some total stranger? From her spot atop the clock tower, the girl observed the growth of her familiar. Flat Snark, a savior of the discarded. It was a vile, vulgar fairy tale monster which provided those abandoned by fate with a glimmer of hope before snatching it away. Alice had it under her control, but she was still keen to keep Snark from expressing its bad habits. After completing a lap around the park that had now reached the size of an entire town, the robin made its situation report.
そう。外を目指しているの。
So, they're trying to get out. What a fucking snitch of a little bird, bro. It seemed Aoko was prioritizing the safety of the boy. Even if it resulted in wasting an entire day choosing not to capitulate on a decision was very much like her.
青子のことだから時計台ごと私を焼き払いに来るかと思ったけど。
That's too bad. I was sure Aoko would attempt to burn down the clock tower, and me with it. The blue bird cheeped in response. Was it denying its master's portrait of Aoko? Or agreeing that Aoko's style to do exactly that? An outsider might interpret its interjections either way.
退屈？
Does this bore you? The robin jumped at being addressed so unexpectedly. It chirped and flapped its wings like a flustered servant, frantic to say otherwise.
珍しく気があったわね。
It's rare for us to get along so well.
いいわ。せっかくのゲームだし、もう少しだけ盛り上げましょう。
Okay then. If it's a game she wants, a game she'll get. Let's liven things up a bit, shall we? Calmly, she pulled out a small object from her pocket. A fucking boiled egg, is that what she pulled out of her pocket? Because that's what that looks like. It was a dark gray Easter egg. Well, it's boiled. And emanating from its side was a ticking of a clock. The bird's like, oh. The robin knew it was a ploy kickshaw with a bad attitude far exceeding flat snarks. Not to be among the best in a one-on-one situation.
いってらっしゃい。称える時間は20分に設定したわ。
Go. I set the exulting time for 20 minutes.
いつも通り控えめに壊れてきて。
Break, in that subtle way of yours. And together with the witch's breath, the egg filled with praise disappeared. When does Aoko get her red hair? Suddenly, a strong wind swept through the park. The words, "I could have killed them all by myself," floated through the air. It was the disappointment of something enormous that was both visible, yet overlooked. It's a fucking twister. So, hey, funny enough, that's another movie that starred Bill Paxton. Aoko and Sojiro continued their dash toward the boundary separating the park from outside. The Kiro horde that stood in their way had reduced in number. The iron fence that separated the two from the outside world was just over 300 yards away. Oh, that's about to stop. Fortunately, there was no particularly large buildings barring their path. Or barring, technically. If the Ferris wheel had stood in their way, that would have spelt the end, but thankfully it had yet reached its full strength. The only things that appeared to be before them were weak oddities that could easily be handled by Aoko's simple magecraft.
これならなんとか。
At this rate, we just might... And someone's like, nah, you thought. She would have said, make it to the fence, if her lungs would allow it. Since Aoko was utilizing the ample mana filling the park, her tank of magical energy was nearly full. Coupled with the fact that the condition of her body's circuits was steadily improving to the extent that she would have been able to unleash at least one all-out onslaught. Well, she's like, that does not look good. Until, above her field of vision, something unusual was hovering. It was locked on Sojiro, hovering 10 feet above him to one side.
しずきくん、ちょっと。
Shizuki, look.
ああ、さっきからついてきてる。
What's that thing? It's been on us for a while. Sojiro had suddenly noticed it before Aoko, hence his previous awkward glances towards the sky. In truth, it would have been stranger for him to not notice, as the thing was particularly glued to him. In terms of its size, the floating object measured about 3 feet in diameter. Holy fuck, that's a big egg. Tiles covered the exterior, about which a multitude of spinning lights danced around it.
卵かな。
Is that an egg? Sojiro asked, not really sure what to call it.
卵？卵って言ったら割れる卵。
An egg. If it's in an egg, then that means it'll crack. Her bullets bounced off of it, like it was made of rubber. That trait, the ability to deflect outside interference, confirmed to Aoko that the thing was undoubtedly a ploy kickshaw.
やっぱり外からのルールじゃ壊れないか。
I knew it. I can't break its rules from the
しず
outside.
きくん、あれから絶対に目をそらさないで。
Suzuki, don't take your eyes off of it for even a second. Yeah, but watch out for that pole you're about to run
い
into.
い。何があっても見続けること。視界の隅に入れとくだけでいいから。
No matter what happens, keep your eyes locked on it, even if it's just in the corner of your vision.
ああ
Oh, okay. Alko picked up the pace as she barked orders. The Eggman who sat on the wall. He would crack, just as the tale spoke of. Nothing anyone could do or say would cause him to fall, but the moment they stopped looking, he would tumble down and break into pieces.
いわく、王様の軍隊でも元に戻せない数の破片。
All the king's horses and all the king's men could put him back together again, or so it said. Oh man, is this Johnny Appleseed? Oh, never mind. It was the Mother Goose poem, Humpty Dumpty. Damn, they got me for a loop. If Sojiro was its target, then the moment he averted his gaze, it would tumble and explode.
まあ、爆発するかどうかは知らないけど。
Except for the exploding part, who knows what'll happen when it falls. Either way, it was going to scatter something troublesome when it fell. Its oval shape, the keyhole adorning the front, and writing inscribed upon it, they all made her anxious. If it was an egg, that meant that it was going to hatch at some point. If he continued his stare, once the time came for whatever it was to come outside, they would have even less ability to conserve their energy.
青崎早すぎないか
Aozaki, slow down, would you?
あまり全力で走ると
If you use up all your energy now, you'll
後のことは考えないで。
forget about what comes next.
いいからしずきくんは卵だけに集中して。
Just focus on watching that egg. At this crucial juncture, Breadman stepped out to join the egg and block their path.
邪魔！
Out of the way! The Breadmen were marching toward in grand battalion. At her level of firepower, Alko could easily mow them down. However, they said, nah.
片焼きかこの。
They just have hard crusts? Take this. I'm sorry. It's nice to think that's like armor or something like that. Fucking crust. If Snap failed to do the job, that meant it was time for her to put her crest to use. Draw. A formula-triggered bullet encased in a full wind jacket. If her previous shots were the equivalent of machine gun volley, then this was her artillery shot. The hard crust bread that had absorbed her snap without a dent scattered into thousands of tiny pieces at her draw's torrent. He was like, holy shit!
うわ
Whoa. And whoa indeed. I think that's where we're going to end it. We're going to see what happens next time with that big old Tiki-Tok egg that's following them. We'll see what true monster emerges from that thing. So hopefully you guys did enjoy. And if you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. This is your boy White Album. I'll see you guys next time. Signing out.